want to tell y'all about my twin brother, Katt Williams, baby. I'm going to be joining my twin brother, Katt Williams, on the Dark Matter Tour. We are excited.
You know, ever since Monique's sit-down with Shannon Sharpe on Club Shay Shay started making waves online, it's been causing quite the stir. It's drawing parallels to Katt Williams' own interview on the same platform just a month prior. Now, if you're wondering what Katt's take is on Monique's interview, well, it seems like he's all in her corner. I mean, he even went as far as extending an invitation for her to open up for him on his current stand-up tour, the Dark Matter Tour, and he did it in the most Katt Williams way possible, via Instagram, of course. But hold up, because where there's Katt, there's bound to be a little sprinkle of drama. Rumor has it, and you know how rumors love to swirl, that Katt isn't just inviting Monique along for the ride on any old tour. Nope, apparently he's got some bombshells up his sleeve, like spill the tea type of stuff. Whispers in the grapevine suggest that there's someone out there with some serious vendetta vibes, someone who allegedly came pretty close to taking both Katt and Monique out of the picture. But here's the thing, Katt and Monique aren't exactly the type to take threats lying down. They're the kind of people who won't stay quiet if they feel they've been wronged, especially when the stakes are this high. So if there's any truth to these rumors, well, buckle up, because it looks like someone's about to get a taste of their own medicine. Now, what exactly did Katt and Monique say or do to ruffle someone's feathers to this extent? That's the million-dollar question. So let's get into it. So let's rewind a bit to a few days ago when Katt Williams stirred up some major buzz on Instagram. He dropped this epic poster that looked like it came straight out of a Marvel movie, but with a hilarious twist. It's called Def Comedy Jam Civil War, and it's packed with all the big names that have been making waves in Katt's and Monique's recent interviews. We're talking Cedric the Entertainer, Faison Love, Earthquake, Kevin Hart, Tiffany Haddish, Steve Harvey, DL Hewley, Ricky Smiley, and of course our main protagonists, Katt and Monique, playing themselves. Plus, there's a stellar lineup of cameo appearances by comedy legends like Dave Chappelle, DeRay Davis, Gary Owen, and Corey Holcomb. Now, if you're wondering what's with the whole Civil War vibe in the title, yeah, that's a direct nod to the drama that's been brewing ever since those explosive Club Shay Shay interviews hit the scene. But Katt doesn't stop there. He drops this cryptic quote from his spiritual Instagram page, something about the universe saying, "What belongs to you will simply find you. Just relax, enjoy your coffee, and co-create it with me." Sounds like some cosmic guidance, right? Well, word on the street is, it's all tied to Monique spilling the beans about joining Katt on his Dark Matter tour for a few dates.
And I want to tell y'all about my twin brother, Katt Williams, baby. I'm going to be joining my twin brother, Katt Williams, on the Dark Matter Tour. We are excited.
And guess who else is hopping on board? Mark Curry and even Torrey Hart, Kevin Hart's ex. With this lineup, it may seem Katt Williams has brought together this crew of comedians who might just have a few common foes lurking in the shadows of the industry. Now let's dive into the juicy stuff, the shared enemies, starting off with Kevin Hart. Rewinding back to 2021, there was this memorable episode on Kevin Hart's Comedy Gold Mines podcast where he had the legendary Monique as his guest. They delved deep into Monique's life, her rise in the comedy scene, and where she stands today in her career. Now, if you're not familiar with it, Monique has had some long-standing issues with Oprah Winfrey and Tyler Perry, and trust me, we'll get into that later, so hang tight. During their conversation, Monique opened up about the struggles her family faced, describing it as being up against the wall. It was then that Kevin Hart, being the stand-up guy he is, stepped in to offer his support. He expressed to Monique that she's like family to him, a mother, an aunt, a sister rolled into one. Hart didn't just stop at comforting words, he took action. Now, Hart admitted he didn't really know Oprah Winfrey personally, but he promised Monique that he'd reach out to Tyler Perry. And guess what? He did just that. After a heartfelt conversation with Perry, Hart came back to Monique with some promising news. Perry was ready to bury the hatchet and move past the drama. Hart, being the voice of reason, urged Monique to do the same. He told her, "Let's leave all that negativity in the rearview mirror, Mo. We've got bigger things to accomplish together." But Hart's generosity didn't stop there. In a conversation with Shannon Sharpe, Monique revealed that Hart not only offered emotional support, but also extended a professional hand. He proposed to partner with her and even offered to executive produce any project she wanted to bring to life. Monique recounted Hart's words, saying, "Mo, I talked to Tyler. He said he didn't want to revisit it, but I'll tell you what, let's move past that, Mo. Let's just do great things together. Don't even worry about it. Whatever you want to do, I will partner with you. I'll executive produce with you. You just let me know."
I want you to hear me, Kevin Hart.
Let's move past that, Mo. Let's do some great things together. Don't even worry about it. Whatever y'all want to do, I will partner with you. I'll executive produce with you. You just let me know what you want to do.
She also spilled the beans about how Kevin came through big time, lending her a hefty sum of cash. And get this, she even returned it with interest. But here's where it gets juicy. After Hart promised to help her get her talk show back on track. Naturally, Monique was stoked, and who wouldn't be? Having Kevin Hart as a producer could skyrocket any project. So she excitedly tells her producers and Endemol, her media production company, and they're all on board, thrilled at the prospect of working with such a big star. But plot twist, 2 weeks later, Monique gets hit with some devastating news. Endemol drops the bombshell that Kevin Hart's manager, Dave Becky, gave them a ring to say that Kevin had cold feet. Monique picks up the phone, hoping for an explanation from Hart himself. And what does she get? A vague reassurance. "We'll talk Tuesday. Don't worry about it," he says.
That's a miscommunication, and we're going to talk Tuesday. Don't worry about it. I'm telling you right now, it's a miscommunication. That was 2 years ago. If you talk to him, I talk to him.
Fast forward 2 years and crickets. Monique hasn't heard a peep from Kevin since. As for Katt Williams, for those of you who don't know about the ongoing showdown between Katt Williams and Kevin Hart, you might recall that the beef traces back to the 2008 film Fool's Gold. Williams was initially set to take the lead, but his legal issues at the time forced him to pass on the gig, which involved filming down under in Australia. Enter Kevin Hart, who swooped in and snagged the role instead. According to the grapevine, that's where the sparks of tension between Williams and Hart first ignited. Now, we're talking about more than a decade of simmering beef, folks. It's like a slow-cooked drama stew that's finally reaching its boiling point. Williams, with all his comedic flair, is now taking aim at Kevin Hart. When the topic of Kevin Hart came up in his conversation with Shannon, Katt straight up alleged that Hart might be an industry plant. He questioned the lightning speed of Kevin's success, highlighting how he landed a sitcom and led a movie, Soul Plane, all in his first year in Los Angeles. According to Katt, this raises eyebrows and makes Kevin's early history seem a bit like a mystery. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA and, in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person, he continued saying. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definition of these words.
Heard of a comedian that came to LA, and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading. What do you think a plant is?
But Kevin fired back at Katt Williams in a post shared on Platform X, giving his take on the latest diss. Kevin didn't just clap back, he also took the opportunity to plug his newest project, which is set to hit Netflix. He said, "Gotta get that anger up out ya, champ. It's honestly sad. In the meantime, please enjoy my movie trailer to my next film, Lift, which will be dropping on Netflix in 8 days. Also, during an explosive rant on the Club Shay Shay podcast, Kevin Hart had this to say when asked about being called out by comedian Katt Williams. "You don't entertain the circus, you watch it. When a lion comes out and rides the bike, you don't think about it too hard. You just go, okay, that's crazy. The lion is riding a bike. And then you go home and enjoy the rest of your day." Hart responded during an interview with Fox 5's Kevin McCarthy about his new action comedy, Lift. "I don't feed into the stuff at all at the end of the day. It's all entertaining to a certain degree," Hart said. He added he's sure his fans will fact-check claims like the ones made against him by Williams. "I just don't have the time for it. There's too much going on," Hart said. But it doesn't end there. Kevin Hart's ex-wife, Tori, is also hitting the road on tour with Katt Williams. Now, the fact that Tori Hart, Kevin's ex-wife, is hitching her wagon to Katt Williams for a tour has got people raising their eyebrows and wondering, what's the deal? Rumor has it that Tori might be gearing up to spill some serious tea about her past with Kevin during this tour. But wait, it gets even juicier. Katt went on to say that despite Tiffany being in the comedy game since she was 16, nobody really knows her jokes. And get this, according to him, she hasn't even done a proper tour or a comedy special.
She been doing comedy since she was 16. You can't tell me your favorite Tiffany Haddish joke. Why? Because she ain't done a tour yet. She ain't done a special. She has not proven the ability to tell jokes back to back.
Now here's where things take a turn. Katt throws out a theory that Tiffany's success boils down to just two words: Brad Pitt. He's suggesting she's playing the white card to get ahead in Hollywood.
They like her because she want to sleep with a white man. That's why the only thing she said was, I want to give it to Brad Pitt.
Of course, Tiffany wasn't about to take that lying down. While performing at the Dania Improv in Florida, she seemed to address Katt's criticism head on. She listed off a bunch of shows and movies she's been in and reminded everyone of the years she's spent perfecting her craft.
To LA, nigga. I've been doing I was on That's So Raven. I was on all this.
Now, let's dive into the other people Katt Williams and Monique have thrown shade at. First up on the hit list for Katt is none other than Steve Harvey. Katt went on to claim that Steve, in an appearance on Club Sheish, tried to act all nonchalant about not wanting to be a movie star. But according to Katt, Steve was secretly trying to compete with Bernie Mac for movie roles. And that's not all. Katt also accused Steve of stealing material from another comedian, Mark Curry, and allegedly lying about being homeless. In Katt's words, the same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. Now, Steve got a sitcom where he's the principal, wearing a suit and rocking a high top fade, making all black men think he's got the best lineup in the business. And it's a man unit, not the real deal.
The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. The same Negro that hated on Bernie with this same thing. I didn't want to be a movie star. No, you couldn't be a movie star.
Katt also called Steve out for supposedly lying about being homeless, saying, "That's my story. That's not his story. Steve Harvey was never homeless. When Mark Curry was touring with him 25 years ago, he was making $3,000 a show in cash and doing 5 shows a week. They just tell the stories." Katt didn't stop there, diving into Steve's marital history, claiming Steve said it was his first wife who got him where he is, then switched it up with the next wife, who thinks like a man. Katt questioned Steve's credibility and authenticity, especially when it comes to claiming to be the king of comedy. He even spilled that he was offered the chance to be the 4th king of comedy, but turned it down because of how Steve allegedly treated Bernie Mac. Katt said, "Because the whole time Bernie was here, you were acting like you were funnier than him. You stop it. That man was funnier than all of y'all." Katt's not holding back, calling Steve out on his claims and keeping it real about how comedy works.
This is like Steve Harvey telling people he used to be homeless. That's my story. That's not his story. Steve Harvey was never homeless.
Hold up. There's more to this Katt Williams saga. He might not just be blowing smoke. Guess who's supposedly backing him up? None other than Mark Curry. Yeah, that's right. Mark Curry's name is in the mix. So, in a couple of recent chats, Mark spilled the beans, claiming that Steve Harvey straight up recycled his material for jokes on his shows. And this isn't a new beef. Mark's been throwing shade about Steve lifting his jokes way back when on Harvey's NBC talk show. All right, so there's this explosive video, and it's got Steve Harvey and Mark Curry tangled up in some serious comedy beef. Mark's claiming that Steve, who used to host Little Big Shots on NBC, swiped not 1, but 2 of his jokes. And get this, Mark says he already confronted Steve about it in the past, but the alleged joke thievery kept happening.
The thing with Steve Harvey is that he used my material on both his platforms.
Yeah.
After I talked to him, I saw him at Def Jam, I went up and talked to him, I said, "Man, you're using my material."
Steve went on a rant, saying he hasn't stolen a joke in 35 years and dared Mark to name the joke he's talking about. He even threw in a "grow up, man" for good measure. But here's the kicker. Mark wasn't just making stuff up. The comedian came armed with receipts, proving his point and turning up the heat in this comedy feud. Mark Curry took his beef with Steve Harvey to Instagram and dropped some serious receipts in a video that's now deleted. Basically, he called out Stevie for allegedly stealing a bunch of jokes from him for his show. In this video, Mark compared an episode from his 90s sitcom, Hanging with Mr. Cooper, where he talked about rocking a brown box as a UPS costume for Halloween. Surprise, surprise, Steve made the exact same joke in a 2015 episode of his show.
Bullshit talk show he had. And he did all my Halloween material one Halloween. I'm watching, somebody called me and said, "Man, homeboy doing your material." So he did my whole Halloween run.
Then for Monique, she has been on this crusade, calling out Lee Daniels and Oprah Winfrey for what she sees as them messing with her career. It's been brewing for years, but recently she dropped some serious tea on Club Shay Shay. Now, it's kind of ironic because Monique starts off by giving Oprah some props. She sees Oprah as this powerhouse figure who broke barriers for Black women in the industry, someone who's not afraid to speak truth to power. But, and here's where it gets interesting, Monique's got some serious beef with Oprah going way back to when she turned down doing international press for Precious. But hold on to your seats, because Monique drops a bombshell about how OPR allegedly snatched up roles that were meant for her. Like, remember The Butler? Yeah, it was supposed to be hers, or so she says. Lee Daniels apparently offered it to her. But when Oprah expressed interest, well, you can guess who ended up with the part. And it doesn't stop there. Lee Daniels had this biopic in the works about Richard Pryor. And guess who he wanted to play the grandmother? Monique. But lo and behold, Oprah swoops in and claims the role for herself. Now, Monique's not saying Oprah intentionally stole these parts, but she's definitely raising some eyebrows about the whole situation. She's like, hey, let's sit down and talk about this, because from where she's standing, it's all looking a bit suspect.
Lee Daniels came out and said, I did offer Monique the Butler. But as he said to me, he said, Mo, at the time I didn't have no power and I didn't have no money. So when Oprah said she wanted it, so who played the lead role in The Butler?
Let's rewind a bit to the Monique and Oprah showdown. This drama started way back in 2009 when Monique starred in Precious, a movie produced by Oprah and Tyler Perry and directed by Lee Daniels. The real beef kicked off when Oprah and Tyler decided Monique should hit the press circuit for the film without any paycheck. Monique wasn't having it and straight up said, nah, not in my contract. According to Monique, she only got a measly $50K for the whole movie, which was barely enough. Now they wanted her to jet around the world promoting the film for free, not on Monique's watch. But Oprah and Tyler didn't take her refusal well at all. Instead, they started trashing her reputation in the industry, spinning a narrative about her being difficult to work with. Monique spilled the tea, saying Tyler Perry told her, you may want to consider promoting this film because if you get nominated for an Oscar, your next film is $3 to $5 million. And if you win it, your next film is $6 to $8 million. Monique was like, hold up, I'm a Black woman. Where are they paying those salaries, brother? She straight up told Tyler, I can't work for free. I've done what I was supposed to do. I can't go overseas and do this for free. Their back and forth continued, with Tyler saying he doesn't believe in giving money away for free, and Monique firing back, I don't believe in working for free. So we on the same page? It's a classic case of clash in values, and Monique wasn't backing down.
He goes on about his spiel, you know. I said, well, listen, you can write me the check for me to go overseas. I don't care where the money comes from, but I'm not gonna do it for free. He says, well, I don't believe in giving money away for free. I said, I don't believe in working for free, so we're on the same page.
She also claimed Tyler Perry allegedly went the extra mile to mess with her acting gigs. According to Monique, it all went down after she turned down a request to fly to France for the Cannes Film Festival, tied to promoting the movie Precious. So check it. The movie studio initially asked her to jet off to France, but Monique, with her busy schedule as a talk show host, comedian, and family woman, respectfully declined. They tried to sweeten the deal by offering to upgrade her hotel room, but she and her husband stuck to their guns, saying, nah, we're gonna spend this time with our family. She said, Oprah, I'm doing a talk show. I'm doing a comedy tour. I have a husband and I have babies. I have a little bit of downtime and I am going to take advantage of it. So I'm not going anywhere because I'm not obligated to go anywhere. I've done my part. So we mutually agreed to disagree. That was it. Next thing I know, I am considered difficult and hard to work with. When the third call came and they asked, what's it going to take to get Monique to France? Her husband straight up asked, is there a number associated with it? That's when they dropped the bomb that they would never pay for anyone to do promotions for a movie. Monique revealed she was paid a mere $50,000 for Precious, and it wasn't about the money. She signed up to do it with her friend. The interviewer dug in, suggesting she needed the money to feed her family and pay bills, and Monique responded, I think that's what America says. We all say, I can't do it for free. She explained that when the movie studio refused to pay for her Cannes appearance, they didn't make a fuss. But then the reports started flying, painting Monique as demanding and difficult. The whole thing boiled down to a simple request that they understood couldn't be met. But suddenly, Monica found herself libeled, and that's where the drama kicked in.
Because what people didn't know was I was paid $50,000 to do the movie Precious. And it really wasn't about the money, and I'm not complaining because I signed up to do it with my friend. We can't set a precedence and pay you to do this. We didn't have an issue with them.
Okay.
But that's when the reports came that now Monique is being demanding and she's being difficult.
But Monica wasn't done dropping bombs just yet. She went on to spill the tea about how Tyler Perry cost her and her family tens of millions of dollars over a rumor he started about her. She recounted the whole situation, saying that Tyler told her he'd never do anything to hurt her, but then later admitted to starting a false rumor that she was difficult to work with. Monique didn't hold back, expressing her frustration and disappointment, especially after Tyler's initial denial. She went on to talk about how, during her conversation with Shannon, she referenced an interview he did with Katt, where he admitted to letting people lie in his face because he didn't know if they were lying or not. Monique made it clear that she wanted Shannon to hear Tyler's own words, so she sent him the audio recording of their conversation. And let me tell you, it wasn't a walk in the park. Monique revealed that she recorded the conversation legally, which she emphasized was crucial for her as a Black woman facing off against someone as powerful as Tyler Perry. She explained that having the audio proof was a game changer, as it prevented her from being dismissed or ignored.
Had I not recorded Tyler Perry, then it would have been my word against his. And then on top of that, it would have been, he's so powerful, we can't even pay no attention to that.
Monique didn't mince words about the impact of Tyler's actions on her and her family. She stressed that the lie Tyler spread cost them a staggering amount of money, leaving them in a tough spot financially. It was a tough pill to swallow, and Monique didn't hesitate to share the weight of the consequences of Tyler's actions.
You know it's illegal to... But did you hear what the man said? I violated you.
Yeah.
I mistreated you.
Yeah.
Do you know, Shannon, that's cost my family tens of millions of dollars?
So, it looks like Katt and Monique have had their fair share of run-ins with some shady characters in the industry. Now that they're teaming up for a tour, it's like they're gearing up for a tag team takedown. And you know what? We're totally here for it and can't wait to see them bring the heat and maybe even stir up some drama along the way. What do you all think about this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll catch you in the next video.